Whether you are just getting started on your Amazon journey or you're a seasoned veteran with over $10 million in annual revenue, you should be paying attention to the key insights that I'm about to be sharing in this video. In this video, I'll be covering Jungle Scout's report called The State of the Amazon Seller in 2022, which are key findings that were gathered from 3,500 Amazon sellers. Now, I know that there are millions of Amazon sellers all around the world, but with a sample size of 3,500, we can definitely extract some pretty powerful data from that. This annual study explores the strategies of the sellers and small business owners who drive a major portion of Amazon's $470 billion in revenue. This video should make you feel more optimistic about selling on Amazon and will give you an idea into what other Amazon sellers are experiencing in their business. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I want to show you with this report is how to actually find it, because I'm only going to cover a small amount of this report. I could literally spend hours talking about this thing. It's very in-depth, but if you want to actually get access to this to go through it yourself, then you can go to the Jungle Scout website, junglescout.com, go to the resources tab, and then click right here, State of the Amazon Seller. All right, so kicking things off, I'm gonna tell you about the common challenges that sellers are facing today. So first of all, the amount of sellers who say importing products is a challenge rose 34% in the past year. So getting products from China over to the US has become more difficult, as you probably already know. So what I recommend to you is look for other places to set up manufacturing, get manufacturing done, and ultimately have your supplier located in. I'm a huge fan of the US because if it's either in your state or a sister neighboring state nearby you, it makes it a lot easier for getting products into Amazon, quality control, things like that. Also, Mexico can be a pretty good resource for getting things manufactured because it's so close. You don't have to worry a bunch about customs. The timing to actually get it replenished in your inventory could be low. Mexico is coming up with their marketplace, and overall you can find cheap labor there. So I highly recommend that you look in Mexico for sourcing products. But going back to this, let's see, 50% of Amazon sellers say their challenges are getting customer reviews. Obviously, a lot of sellers are always concerned with that. 47% say finding a product to sell. 46% say managing advertising strategy and budget. 40% say protecting their business from black hat tactics, counterfeiters, and other risks. Now, I've actually seen this a lot. A lot of people feel like they're being attacked in the reviews section, in the customer questions and answers section, and overall, when it comes to their rankings may slip because all of a sudden they see these other listings starting to rise in the ranks, and you can kind of tell that they're doing black hat review strategies and things like that that are getting them higher in the rankings. So definitely see a challenge here, but let's go ahead and move on. All right, so here are some key insights into advertising spend and what different advertisers are spending on a monthly basis. So real quick, some quick stats for you. 59% of sellers say increasing ad costs are a major concern for them. 46% say they find it challenging to manage their advertising strategy and budget. Well, you're in luck. That's where we come in, and you can actually get help from us if you go to evolvemediaagency.com. Anyway, let's continue. 32% plan to spend more money in advertising in 2022. Now, if we look at the average monthly advertising spend on Amazon, it looks like 36% are spending $500 to $2,500. I'd say that's a pretty average budget. I see that a lot. So 1/3 of them are saying they're spending around that much. 10% are spending between $2,500 and $5,000 per month. 3% are spending between $5,000 and $7,500 per month. So, I mean, I would say that as we head into the end of 2022, those costs are going to start to increase, and more Amazon sellers are going to be spending, you know, a few $1,000s a month on Amazon PPC. All right, so here's some cool data on how long on average it takes to actually launch a new product and how much time each week Amazon sellers are spending in their business. And these numbers are kind of surprising, that I'm seeing at least. So time it takes to launch, it looks like 78% launched within 6 months. So majority of the time, people are taking around 6 months to launch a new product. So speed is gonna be key here. If you can get a product launched faster than 6 months, then try try and do that because, while you're trying to get a product launch, your competitors are also doing the same, and you obviously want to be first to market. Next, 64% spend fewer than 20 hours on their business each week. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but if you're spending full-time amount of time on your business each week, then you may have a leg up on these people. So, I would always recommend try to put as much time as you can into your business. If you don't have the time, like you have a full-time job or something else that's taking your attention, hire workers that can help you in growing your Amazon business. That's how you can actually outsource and scale and spend more time without actually spending more time yourself. Now, before I continue on with the rest of the information from this report, let me quickly tell you who I am, and let me tell you about the different services that we actually offer inside our Amazon marketing agency. All right, real quick, if you don't know me, my name is Ian Smith with Evolve Media. We're an Amazon marketing agency that helps sellers boost the conversion rate of their listings by using photo and video content. We actually put many of our conversion rate boosting strategies into our free Amazon listing checklist. You can get access to this by going to zonchecklist.com. At Evolve Media, we help sellers rank higher, get more reviews, increase their PPC return on ad spend, bring in new customers through off-Amazon marketing strategies, and we even help sellers obtain their Amazon customer data like their names, mailing addresses, emails, and phone numbers. So if you need help with scaling up your Amazon business, then book a free call with me by going to evolvemediaagency.com. All right, so now let's continue on with the video. All right, here's some insights into your actual net profits. So 65% of sellers have profit margins over 10%. I would definitely try to shoot for that, have that as your goal. Try to be anywhere between 10% to 15% as your net profit amount. As you can see here, 11 to 15%, 16 to 20%, 21 to 25%, are falling within those teens percentages for the actual profit amount. So obviously the more net profit you can have, the better, right? So I would just say this is kind of a milestone. If you have no idea what to shoot for when you're looking for new products and launching your business, or even if you have a current business that you're not necessarily as profitable as you'd like to be, here are some goals to try to strive for. Now, when it comes to actual sales, total revenue, here's some information for you. So when it comes to sales earnings, many small businesses on Amazon go above and beyond the typical side hustle. 22% of sellers make over $10,000 in average monthly sales. Now, that's gonna depend on how long they've been in the business, right? Down here, it says, for example, while just 25% of new sellers, those with 2 or fewer years in the business, are earning over $100,000 in annual e-commerce revenue. So that would be just under that 10,000 per month mark. Then it looks like when you've been in the business for over 3 years, you have over a 60% chance of making over $100,000 in e-commerce revenue. That's total revenue. So if you've been in the business for over 3 years, then hopefully you're making more than $100,000 in revenue on Amazon. All right, this is a really cool slide that you really need to check out. This is very important information for when it comes to launching new products, expanding your product line, or just launching your first product on Amazon. This is gonna give you insight into actual pricing. So as it says here, 51% price products between $11 and $25. This is well within that impulse buy territory, and I highly recommend you try to be between $11 to $25 with your first product and with even a lot of your products in your lineup, because it's a low price point, meaning that you can easily get somebody to convert and buy your product. Also, hopefully your product is a consumable product, so they're buying this over and over, because ultimately you need the highest lifetime value customer that you can possibly get. So if this is just a one-time purchase, then you really need to expand your product line so that you can cross-sell them other products. But if you're selling a consumable product, then ideally you want them to be coming back monthly and buying over and over and over again. That's how you can maximize your external marketing efforts and your actual Amazon PPC ad spend. Now here's some insight into how wide sellers are going with their product lineup. So a lot of sellers have between 1 and 5 products in their lineup. 53% are selling 5 or fewer products. As you can see there, 88% sell 50 or fewer products. Now, once you start to get above, 10 products, 15 products, you're gonna start to create systems and hire teams, and that way it's gonna make scaling a whole lot easier the more products that you have. So it's kind of like this whole exponential growth that starts to happen. Now, when you're at the whole 1, 2, 3, anywhere between 5 and 10, depending on your sales, you may not have the resources to actually start to expand your team and really have some good cash flow coming in. Me and my team would love to help you out. We can definitely be flexible on pricing, and we're not gonna, rely on a monthly, paycheck from you. So it could definitely be one-off projects, but I would definitely recommend, whether it's me or another freelancer or another agency, lean on those type of businesses for your help. And then once you have some good revenue coming in and you start to expand your product line, then you can start to get those full-timers where you can really rely on a team. All right, here's some insight into the top Amazon product categories. Now, the way that I look at this is like, hey, avoid these categories because these are top product categories, which means they probably have a high saturation of sellers, which means a lot of competition. So I don't know, do what you wanna do, but take this data into consideration. Home and kitchen, beauty and personal care, toys and games, those are the top most popular product categories on Amazon, which means that it may be pretty difficult to rank for those categories. And also the people that are already selling in those categories, they may have a ton of reviews. Now, toys and games, that's gonna be kind of tricky to be a consumable product in that category. I would highly recommend trying to go after consumable type of products and categories. So just screenshot this, pause this video if you want to take a look at these other categories here, but this just gives you some insight into, for me, what categories to avoid. All right, here's some insight into global marketplaces. If you're only selling in the US marketplace right now, I highly recommend that you start to expand, look to sell in Canada, UK, Germany, Mexico, France. Right now, the US is the most saturated and highest competitive marketplace, right? So like going back to those top product categories that I just mentioned, if you want to sell in those product categories, maybe look to sell in Canada in that category, or the UK or Australia. But it looks like 32% of sellers currently operate in more than one Amazon marketplace. So if you are not in that 1/3 that are operating outside the US, then you should really try to expand your marketplaces and start operating in those other marketplaces around the world. Let me continue on with showing you the different Amazon business models that you're gonna find on Amazon, right? So the top best business model that I also love myself is private label. Highly recommend that you get into private label because that's gonna set you up to actually exit the company and sell the company. A lot of aggregators these days are looking to buy businesses, and the top businesses that they're buying are private label businesses. As you can see here, 59% of businesses on Amazon are private label, 26% are wholesale, 26% are retail arbitrage, online arbitrage is 23%, drop shipping is 10%, and handmade is 8%. Now, highly recommend to stay away from drop shipping, online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, and even wholesale because they can be very tricky. You're not really building a business, you're more just building a cash flow machine. And hey, if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking to get your feet wet, then by all means, go after one of those. But I highly recommend if you're looking to build a big business asset that you can sell and grow a customer relationship with, grow an email list, and overall do all the marketing strategies that I recommend in my YouTube videos, you're gonna wanna go private label. All right, so now I'm gonna kind of spread out to a little bit more broad, general type of insights that you should keep in mind. These are some cool things to know. 76% of sellers are profitable in 2022. Now, 58% of sellers have ambitious growth plans for 2022, and over half of them actively sell on other e-commerce platforms. Now, this can include Walmart.com, Shopify, Etsy, things like that. I highly recommend that if you have a private label business, launch a Shopify website. Put in a little bit effort each month to grow your Shopify business, because if you are trying to sell your business at any time, then you're going to want to have a Shopify website where you can collect payments off Amazon and have a little bit more of your own store and business set up, right? Because Amazon, that's Amazon's business. Those are Amazon's customers technically, right? So you can't necessarily do certain things when those are Amazon's customers and they're not yours. But Shopify, they're all yours. Now this stat right here is exactly what I'm talking about. 25% of entrepreneurs are exploring new ways to make money through Amazon. 1 in 4 new Amazon sellers plan to sell their business to an aggregator. So let me go ahead now and show you some key data points on aggregators and just show you how fast they're growing and expanding, and how you may want to consider structuring your business to be appealing for an aggregator. All right, now obviously take this data with a grain of salt. We don't really know how truly accurate this is, but in May of 2021, Amazon aggregators Perch and Thrasio raised a combined total of $1.5 billion in funding in the first 5 months of 2021. Now, if we skip forward to the end of 2021, December, Amazon aggregators end the year with a total 12 billion in funding in 2021. So they literally like 10x'd, 12x'd their company between May and December. And sorry, I don't mean company, I mean the actual amount of cash that they have to go and start buying up different Amazon businesses. So that business of buying businesses is definitely expanding. So again, if you're building an Amazon business, I suggest going private label, structuring your business so that you have your customers' email addresses, you have them buying from you on Shopify, you have them overall more ownership and a relationship with your brand rather than just being like a wholesale or a retail arbitrage and you really have no value there as an actual business. If you need help with any of the stuff that I just mentioned, me and my team would love to help you out. Again, go to evolvemediaagency.com. Now here's some more insights into Amazon sellers' profitability. Here's an interesting stat. 30% of Amazon sellers reported over $10,000 in lost sales due to supply chain issues in 2021. Now, obviously, we know a lot of the craziness that happened with supply chains issues and how your listing got taken down because you couldn't get inventory replenished fast enough. So again, that's why I'm a huge fan of sourcing manufacturers or just having plan B, plan C type of manufacturers in the US, in Mexico, in other countries apart from the main big country of China. Now, if you're just starting out, here's a cool stat for you. 63% of sellers achieve profitability within 1 year of launching their business on Amazon. So there is hope, there is optimism. You should be hopeful that you can launch a new business. There is still room to grow a business and it's not oversaturated. So it says here 60% of sellers with 3+ years in business on Amazon are earning over $100,000 in e-commerce revenue. Now, honestly, $100,000 in annual revenue, that's gonna boil down, like I was telling you, 10 to 15% net profit. Like 10 to 15,000 per year, I mean, is not much. So I would highly hope that more than 60% of sellers after 3 years of being on Amazon can make more than $100,000. But hey, if that's what the data is showing, then it just means that you've got a big hill ahead of you and you need to try to push hard to get to that point where you're making $100,000 in revenue per month. So here are some more key insights into those popular product categories. So it says here home and kitchen, beauty and personal care, toys and games, clothing and shoes, health, household and baby care. It says here most sellers price their products between $11 and $25. So I highly recommend you shoot for that price point when you're launching a new product. It says here half of Amazon sellers sell 5 or fewer products. Sometimes it is great to just focus on between 1 to 3 products, get those churning as best as you can, get them ranked high, a bunch of reviews, overall owning your customer data, marketing them off Amazon, because then once you have a solid foundation, it's a lot easier to then expand your business and go from 5 products to then 20 products. Now here's some information for you if you're wanting to launch this Amazon business as a side hustle because you already have a full-time job. 62% of Amazon sellers have full or part-time jobs outside of Amazon. So don't think that you can't do it. 62% of sellers are doing it. Amazon is their side hustle, okay? So keep that in mind. 2/3 are male, which is crazy, and the age is around millennials age. So just because it says millennials, don't think that you can't sell on Amazon just because you're a baby boomer or, basically you're between the ages of 30 and 50. You can do this. You can do it as a side hustle. So hopefully this type of data is inspiring you and giving you optimism. So thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you got value from it. If you did, click that thumbs up button, leave a comment below if you have any questions for me. Reach out to me, book a free call by going to evolvemediaagency.com, and I'll catch you in the next one.